Jackie's calling in, and I've been looking forward to like having some conversation. But this looks really, I don't know. Do I don't look unprofessional host if I'm like this? What I have here looks like I'm gonna fall asleep during this conversation. But all right, Jackie. Jackie wants to talk about Franz Rosenzweig's Star of Redemption case for Judaism.
So
I don't know. I don't know what any of that is, other than like Judaism, and But I don't know very much about Judaism.
So you guys are. So neither of you guys are familiar with a guy named Franz Rosenzweig?
No.
No, I mean, I care more about the argument. Could you just make the argument?
Yeah. So basically, Rosenzweig was a German Jewish philosopher, and he basically argued that Judaism is a unique form of relationship of revelation because of the concept which he called the Star of Redemption. So basically, the idea is this: humans relate to the universe through redemption, the universe relates to God through creation, and humans relate to God through revelation. So basically, Judaism basically has the idea that like you have these rituals, and by doing these rituals, you're basically bringing these sacred time out of the profane temporal world. So like Maciej Eliada said, and God is sort of a symbolic big other, which you're constantly in dialogue with, and that's sort of the.
Can you tempo down just a little bit? It's going real fast for me.
Yeah, so I have one criticism I have of some people like Eric Sampsner, who's a Lacanian who interprets Rosenzweig's philosophy through a sort of a Zizekian materialist manner, is that he interprets it in a way that de-emphasizes.
I'm lost. I'm tapping out. I'm lost. I don't know what you're saying. Can you like treat me like a 5 or like I'm little JMike? What's up? Just give me the quick thing on it. Without, I don't want you to like force you to like losing like important content out of it, but like, brother, I don't know what the fuck you're saying right now. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm back in my like early legend psychedelic days of my life right now.
Well, so basically the idea is that the Jewish concept of revelation is that when you participate in these religious rituals, you are experiencing the real with the capital R, sort of like Lacan would say, and you experience, again, like Jeswans, which Lacan is described as sort of like an experience of pleasure because it's not mediated by human symbolic big other.
I asked for a simple thing, and you gave me that?
Is it, Jackie, is this how you talk to 5-year-olds? Do you, I mean, like, maybe you could pull up ChatGPT and say, explain this concept to a 5-year-old, and then type your concept in.
It's not good if it's me asking someone to use different words.
I'll try. Let me try my best. So, like, would you say that in the to your understanding of the Jewish tradition, is there any idea that you can directly connect to the transcendent through revelation and through ritual?
I don't know. I don't think that when people say the term transcendent, I don't think that they even know what the fuck they're talking about. So I'm not convinced when people talk about this shit that they even know what they're fucking talking about. So if you're asking me that, like, I'm just not convinced that you guys know what you're talking. I've never believed in God. I've had like spiritual kind of beliefs. And I got out of that going, what the fuck am I saying? What is all this shit that I'm talking about? Like, this is nonsense. I just think that people aren't realizing it's nonsense.
So, Jackie, would it be correct to say that you're making an argument that religious rituals, specifically those related to Judaism, help you experience the real reality as opposed to
the fake one?
A fake reality, is a faux reality? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, it's an unmediated encounter with the real, with the capital R, as opposed to this symbolic or imaginary worlds.
Okay.
Capital R is very important.
Yeah, obviously we got to capitalize the R. So help me understand this, because whenever it comes to any kind of experiential thing that people want to come to me with as proof of God or proof of any particular religion. I want to know, how do you actually discern between like some kind of weird experience you had, like something that's fabricated by your own brain, versus an actual experience of like this capital R real world that Morpheus, presented to you from a leather chair with the red pill and blue pill? Like, how can you tell that it's actually real as opposed to something that your mind has fabricated?
Well, what do you mean by the experience? I would just say that the Jewish ethical emphasis on like redemption and the importance of respect for others, and the idea that you're connecting with these eternal values is in the pudding. I mean, like you just
okay.
Those are
Let's walk down this whole redemption thing in Judaism. And correct me if I'm wrong with this. Humans need to be redeemed because a woman had a fruit salad and that pissed God off, and so therefore we have to be redeemed through sacrifice. We initially started off by sacrificing.
That's original sin. That's a Christian.
Something.
That's more Christian than Jewish.
I also got it wrong. It was a McRib woman.
It was a McRib woman. Yeah. There's a McRib woman who had a salad. No, I get that. That's why I'm trying to ask you, like, this is my understanding of redemption in the Hebrew Bible, is that we need redemption because we disobeyed God by eating from the fruit of the tree of knowledge. And I just sort of, I sensationalized it with a fruit salad. So like you're saying that that's not what you're talking about. What can you then explain? What is the whole redemptive thing, and like what does that even mean in the context that you're trying to explain it?
Well, so the Jewish perspective is not that we have original sin like the Christian perspective. The Jewish perspective is that after Eve and Adam, and especially Eve, ate of the fruit of knowledge, basically what happened was God said that he was disappointed with human beings, and so he wanted them to go through, you could say, a form of like hardship or finitude. By experiencing finitude, they'll be able to have their character tested before they are judged in the afterlife, or what in Judaism is called Olam Haba, the world to come. And basically the idea is like, if you the Jewish context of Revelation is that by adopting a set of laws in the Torah, the Jewish nation, and by adopting the 7 laws of Noah for the Noahide nations of the world, Gentiles also have their 7 Noahide laws. By adopting these laws, we're essentially redeeming ourselves.
Okay, hold on, Jackie. I didn't hear a difference between what you explained and what I explained. You said it in a very Christian way, and I said it in a much funnier way.
Well, I try to say it, and because I didn't want to be clear the difference between Jewish perspective on original sin and the Christian perspective on original sin, because some people might.
Well, right, but I'm talking about the act that causes the need for redemption in the Hebrew Bible, right? So the act that requires redemption is the fact that a woman ate a fruit salad and God got pissed off about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally no difference, between like I know that you're saying original sin and everything like that, and I get that that's a Christian concept, but still the event is the same. A woman pissed God off, and therefore we need to be redeemed. Now, in your particular perspective here, how does one get redeemed in Judaism?
So according to Judaism, the way to get a positive judgment of your soul is to obey God's will, which I was saying, the 7 laws of Noah for the Gentile nations and the 613 mitzvot for the Jewish nation.
Right. Okay. So, but how are you redeemed? Like, there's an actual practice in Judaism that's prescribed for how to redeem the Jewish people. Can you please explain like what that practice is?
Well, as I said, if you perform the mitzvot, the idea is that eventually God will judge you favorably and bring the Messiah when the nations start repenting. And
okay, Jackie, I really just need you to say that you take a certain animal, and it varies. You take a certain animal, you cut its entrails out, and then you burn it to a crisp, and then God smells the burning barbecue. and
Yeah,
that
was during the
apparently
temple
redeems
time,
us.
where the temple's destroyed. But that
Well,
was
right, and we're
temple
talking about Judaism. Well, no, but I mean, we're talking about Judaism, and at this particular point in time, like in the Hebrew Bible, like what was the thing that redeemed the Jewish people, and it's burning the entrails of killed animals, right? So that, and
Yeah,
so God
but
could
that was
smell the
when the temple
barbecue,
was up.
right?
Yeah, when the
Okay.
temple was up, that was
It
how
still doesn't
people kind of-
detract from the fact that your God at one time required you to disembowel animals and burn their entrails, right?
Really weird when you could just
Yeah.
like zap a cow in front of you and then just fry it and then just be like, you know, like
Redeemed.
yeah, like you just do it yourself, but
Yeah, and that, but nowadays, now that the temple's destroyed, the way people repent is by doing it directly with God. Because now there are some Orthodox Jewish theologians who say we can build a temple before the Messiah in some religious Zionist communities, but that's a controversial opinion, and I'm not an Orthodox Jewish theologian with the credentials to speak on that subject.
Okay, no, I totally get that, but this is like a thing that has been reinterpreted about Judaism, right? Like the ideal situation for God is to smell the burning entrails of several disemboweled animals, right? Like that seems to be like what he wanted. And then later the temple was destroyed, and so they had to come up with a different way in order to get redeemed by God. And so like therefore burning entrails on the temple floor or altar or whatever is no longer viable, and so God just kind of has to deal with it, right? So the ideal situation for God here is to smell the burning entrails of dead animals, right?
Yes.
Okay, can you please maybe try to put yourself in our shoes? All right. Random person calls you up out of nowhere. You were asking for calls. Random person calls you up and is like, hey, listen, okay, look, to get redeemed, all right, you got to burn the entrails of a bull, and then also take 3,000 lambs, disembowel them, and burn their entrails to a crisp. Don't eat the meat, because you got to burn that too. God really wants you to do this, and he's going to smell the savory flavors of the burning entrails, and then you'll be redeemed. Will you please burn entrails with me? Like, can you imagine being put in that situation? And it's like, oh, hey, look, you've got this imaginary thing, and the only way to get rid of this imaginary thing is to burn the entrails of an animal, and then you'll be redeemed from your magical thing that I just made up.
that sounds like an episode from the show Supernatural, like not like, you know, an actual thing, but yeah, sorry anyway.
Yeah, I don't, but that wasn't part of the premise. I mean, if I did call you, that might be weird in this context, but I'm confused. What's your argument?
My argument is that the whole redeeming like thing of Judaism, which seems to be the primary component of your argument, like that, at least that's one leg of it, that, you know, we've got to be redeemed, and there's this whole relationship between God and man and the whole redeeming thing. So I feel like it's very important to focus on, like, what does it actually mean to be redeemed in Judaism? And it seems like God's ideal situation is to disembowel an animal and then burn its entrails on an altar, and apparently pleases God. So I'm just kind of curious as to why we should take this as being fucking serious.
Well, because it's the whole idea is that when Jews participate in a religious ritual, they're bringing the sacred manifestations of being with the capital B onto earth.
So the only way to bring the physical manifestations of the capital B being into the capital R
Sacred
real world is to the capital S sacred, capital M manifestation into the real world is to burn the entrails of a sheep or bull.
Well, that was when the temple was up. Nowadays, the way
Capital
to do
B
religious ritual
would it be wrong? Would it be wrong to say? But would it be wrong to say at one point in time God was lured to this plane of existence by the burning entrails of an animal?
Well, yes, that was happening at one point, but we're talking about modern day Orthodox Judaism.
Okay, I don't see, like, it's still a fact of Judaism that burning entrails of a bull lured your
but I don't know what's your
here.
point against what I'm saying. What's your argument against what I'm
that
saying?
the belief is fucking ridiculous, Jackie. The belief is ridiculous. Like like that's where the belief started. That's where the redemption started. That's how they redeemed themselves. Just because they've like reconfigured things in order to figure out how to get around it without having a temple, that doesn't change the fact that God's ideal situation is to burn the entrails of a bull on an altar so that he can smell the good smells, like he's at a fucking Jimmy John's or something.
Yeah, we got to bring back the clips in the shows. That'd be one of the clips right there. Go right into it. Sorry.
I'm doing a reductio ad absurdum, right? This is like the entire belief system is absurd in this particular respect. Like the whole redemption arc of the Hebrew Bible, it's just a ridiculous premise. And when you take it back to what it actually is, like what it actually means to be redeemed in God's eyes in this particular situation, like it's fucking ridiculous. I get that there are ways that they have gotten around having to burn the entrails of a bull or a donkey, or not a donkey, sorry, a lamb on an altar so that God can smell it. I get that they've gotten around that now, but that still doesn't change the fact that originally the way to be redeemed in Judaism is to burn the entrails of an animal. Like, anybody would recognize this as being ridiculous, Jackie.
Okay, fine. Let me ask you this. What do you believe is the way to have Jeswants with O with the capital R?
Well,
O with the capital O, sorry. How would you experience Jeswants with O with the capital O? I mean, other with the capital O, rather.
Oh my God. The capital thing is making me not understand what the fucking sentence is. Can you say this fucking sentence without the capital thing? My brain doesn't work like
orgasm?
that.
Like, are you talking about an orgasm or like?
No, sorry, I was confused. I meant to say, how do you experience?
You're
how
confused.
Do you believe it's proper to experience Jeswants of O with the capital O, other with the capital O? The absolute other with the capital O. How do you experience Jeswants with that is my question.
I don't even, my brain can't get past. I just start thinking, when you do that, this is what happens, Jackie. This is what I'm just going to pull the curtain back. So my brain does. My brain goes, why? I don't have your pronouns. So I'm just going to say, my brain goes, why the fuck is this person, Jackie, capitalizing every letter in the sentence as if that's going to make any fucking difference to the content of a statement? It's just confusing. Like, I get lost on it. Like, I'm sorry I do, because I start like laughing in my head. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, but it's just like, it's like when I talk to Christians and they're like, but they're God's in capital G God. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it's like talking to a fourth grader. It's like, this isn't a real thing. This isn't a real distinction.
Well, what I mean
capitalizing the English letter doesn't fucking do anything.
Okay, what I mean by other with the capital O is that the other is the absolute other as opposed to the small o other that you encounter with other human beings. Other with the capital O is...
What? Other what? I have no idea what this other is.
I don't know. I'm so
the
lost.
Absolute other with the capital O.
What is that? What the fuck is the absolute?
I don't know what the capital O other is. Is it like that thing in Doctor Who where you forget as soon as you stop looking at it? Is that what it is?
How do I deal with the absolute other? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
You know what? Man, I sleep. You know how I deal with it? This is how I deal with it, Jackie. I deal with it by putting a thumb in my fucking mouth and a pillow between my fucking legs. And I move on to the end of the show because we've gone over our time and I am not dealing with that. But you want to know how I deal with the absolute other? I deal with it by reading super chats.